Beloved soul of divine light, you have been called in this hour not by chance, but by sacred purpose. A trembling urgency echoes across the heavens, carried through realms unseen, reaching now into your heart. You are being summoned because your spirit bears the mark of divine guardianship. The Eternal One has chosen you not for your strength alone, but for the love that burns within you, the compassion that refuses to let darkness swallow what is good and true. There is one who loves you beyond words, whose prayers have been whispered into the very fabric of heaven. Their soul is bound to yours by threads of light, woven before time itself began. Yet that light flickers now, threatened by shadows that seek to pull them away from their divine path. The heavens have witnessed their pain, their silent battles, their weary heart that still beats with love for you. They do not cry for rescue in the language of the world, but their spirit calls out in the language of eternity, a cry that has reached the throne of God. You, chosen soul, have been entrusted with their protection. The time is short. The forces that oppose the light have already begun to close in, whispering fear, doubt, and confusion into the hearts of many. They twist truth into illusion, hope into despair, and they will seek to turn your eyes away from what is sacred. But you must not turn away. You must stand firm in love, for it is love alone that disarms the shadows. The one who loves you has carried you in prayer, even when you were unaware. They have defended your name before the heavens and offered their tears as an offering for your safety. Now the balance shifts. Now it is you who must become their defender. The Eternal watches, waiting for your heart to awaken fully to its purpose. Before the appointed time, before the veil of this season closes on the 7th day of this month, you must rise in obedience to what your spirit already knows is true. This is not a message of fear, but of sacred responsibility. Heaven does not plead in vain. You have been given power, authority, and the fire of divine love to push back the tide of harm. The light within you is not fragile. It is the weapon of God Himself placed in your care. When you speak words of truth, angels move. When you act in love, the unseen realm trembles. When you intercede for the one who loves you, entire destinies shift toward redemption. There are eyes upon you not of judgment, but of holy expectation. The hosts of heaven stand in readiness, their swords drawn, their wings aflame, waiting for your call, your declaration of faith. For when you align your heart with divine will, you command legions. You have not been abandoned. You have been prepared for this very hour. Remember, protection is not only a shield, it is also light that reveals. Seek what has been hidden. Listen to the quiet prompting in your soul, and you will be guided exactly where you are needed most. The signs have already been placed before you, moments that feel too precise to be coincidence, dreams that stir your conscience, sudden emotions that rise without explanation. These are not accidents. They are summonses from heaven. The person you are called to protect stands at the edge of a storm. Their faith wavers, their strength thins, yet their heart still holds hope because of you. They see in you the reflection of divine promise. Do not let their hope be lost. Lift them with your words, your prayers, your unwavering belief that good will overcome. Speak blessings over them, even if your voice trembles. Every word spoken in love is recorded in heaven and turned into a weapon of light. Time is sacred now. The days ahead will test faith, will stretch hearts, will expose what is true and what is false. But the chosen will not fall if they remain anchored in love. You are being reminded that every moment of compassion, every act of forgiveness, every prayer whispered from a pure heart, these are not small things. They are pillars that uphold the world. Do not wait for confirmation. The call has already been given. You are not being asked to question why, only to trust that the one who made you knows your strength better than you do. The battle is not waged with hands, but with hearts awakened to divine purpose. Love fiercely, protect the one entrusted to you. Let no darkness touch them, for through you they will be shielded. You are divinely chosen to protect someone whose soul is bound to yours, and this truth has been written long before your birth, woven into the fabric of your destiny. The bond between souls is not born of chance but of divine intention, formed in a place where time has no measure, where light itself carries the memories of eternity. When the Eternal One looked upon creation, certain souls were paired with purpose. their journeys intertwine to carry out works that would sustain the balance between light and darkness. You are one of those souls, and the one you are meant to protect has walked beside you in ways unseen, across lifetimes, through seasons of joy and trial, through unseen prayers and silent tears. Their name vibrates in harmony with yours in the spiritual realm, and though the world may disguise it with distance, silence, or misunderstanding, that sacred thread remains unbroken, glowing even in the deepest night. It is not coincidence that your heart stirs now with a sense of urgency, for the call has come again from the heights of heaven, reminding you of who you are, and why you have been placed here at this precise moment in time. To be divinely chosen means to carry not only favor but responsibility. Stand as a guardian of something beyond human comprehension. You have been entrusted with the care of another soul because within you dwells the strength to shield, the wisdom to discern, and the compassion to heal. This calling is not born of your own will, but of the will of the Creator, who sees in you a vessel of light strong enough to stand against the storms that seek to destroy love and truth. You may not yet understand the full depth of your mission, but heaven has seen the courage buried within your heart. You were designed for protection, your spirit trained through every trial, every heartbreak, every moment of endurance that has refined your soul into a weapon of light. All those experiences you once thought were pain without purpose were actually lessons forged to prepare you for this very hour, when another's fate would depend upon your faithfulness. The one bound to you is fragile in this moment, their spirit weary from unseen battles. Their light, though beautiful, flickers under the weight of sorrow, fear, and confusion. They may not have the strength to fight for themselves, and so heaven calls upon you to rise. Your bond with them is not ordinary affection, but a covenant of souls, sealed by divine design. When they suffer, your spirit feels the echo. When they cry, your heart stirs with unrest, even if you do not understand why. That is the pull of spiritual connection, the invisible language of love that transcends distance and time. The Creator has entrusted you with the sacred task of standing in the gap to be the shield when they cannot stand, to be the voice that prays when they are silent, to be the light that holds back the shadows threatening to consume their path. This is not a burden of flesh but of spirit. A holy commission that binds your destiny to theirs. Your protection is not merely physical, it is divine. It exists in the words you speak, the thoughts you send forth, and the prayers that rise from your heart. When you pray for them, the heavens listen. When you declare light over them, the darkness trembles. When you hold them in love without condition, the divine responds by strengthening the bond that keeps them safe. You have been given the authority to intercede, to speak on their behalf in the unseen realm, to call upon divine forces to surround them with light. That power was placed within you at birth, a seed of divine energy that awakens when love meets purpose. To protect is not to control but to uplift, not to dominate but to guard in silence and strength, to be an invisible force of good that shields another soul from harm. This person you are meant to protect is not in your life by coincidence. Their presence, whether near or distant, is a sign that your soul contract is being activated. You may have crossed paths in strange or sudden ways, felt a pull toward them without understanding, or experienced dreams that link your spirits beyond the veil of logic. These are confirmations of divine connection. The universe aligns circumstances to bring you into awareness, because the time to fulfill your role is now. They may not even know that heaven has assigned you to them, but their spirit recognizes you, and that recognition is enough for the divine to move through your willingness. Do not question why it is you. Do not doubt your worthiness. The Creator does not make mistakes in choosing guardians, and every flaw you see in yourself is a reminder that strength and grace often wear the face of humility. The battle that threatens them is not only of this world. Forces unseen are drawn to extinguish light, especially in those who love deeply, for such love carries power. Darkness despises the kind of love that heals, forgives, and believes. The one you are meant to protect carries such love for you, love for life, love for truth, and it has made them a target. But heaven has prepared a counterforce, and that counterforce is you. You are the vessel through which divine defense flows. Your words of hope become walls of light. Your faith becomes the fire that pushes back despair. Your compassion becomes the balm that heals unseen wounds. The Creator has woven your strength into their story so that they would not fall. You are both part of a greater design. Each holding a piece of light that completes the other. The calling to protect is not meant to frighten, but to awaken. It is a reminder that you are not powerless, that within you exists the essence of divine guardianship. Even if you feel small or uncertain, heaven sees you as mighty, radiant, unshakable. The love you hold is not ordinary. It is an energy that moves across realms, altering destinies and restoring balance. When you choose to stand in that love, you fulfill your highest purpose. Every act of kindness, every prayer whispered, every moment of forgiveness becomes a ripple that shields the one tied to your soul. Your energy strengthens theirs. Your courage feeds their hope. Your light becomes their refuge. You are the chosen vessel of protection, not because of perfection, but because of purity of heart. Remember, being chosen does not mean being alone. All of heaven stands beside you. The moment you align your will with divine purpose, angelic forces move in harmony with your intent. When you declare protection, they answer. When you send love, they amplify it. When you speak truth, the heavens seal it. You are part of a vast, luminous design that operates beyond human sight. Your role is sacred, your bond eternal, and your timing exact. Do not delay in responding to what your spirit already knows to be true, for the protection you give will not only save another, it will awaken the divine power sleeping within your own soul. The one who loves you is in danger, and their spirit calls for your help. A cry so soft it cannot be heard with the ears, but only with the soul that still remembers them beyond time. Their essence trembles in the unseen, reaching for you through invisible threads of longing and faith, hoping that your heart will awaken before the shadows grow too deep. They are surrounded by forces that drain their strength, unseen storms that strike not at the body but at the heart, the mind, the spirit that still believes in light. They have been fighting in silence, carrying the weight of sorrow they cannot name, wearing a brave face before the world, while inside their flame flickers and dims. Yet through the trembling of that flame, one truth remains unbroken. Their love for you still burns, even in pain, even in distance, even when they believe you have forgotten. Their love has become their anchor, and that love is what keeps them alive. Though each day feels heavier than the last, their soul has called your name across realms, seeking refuge in your light, pleading that you remember the connection that once sustained them. There is a reason you have been feeling a heaviness you cannot explain, a sudden ache in your chest, a moment of stillness when the world seems to whisper something only you can hear. It is them reaching out to you, their soul crying out not for comfort, but for salvation. Heaven has heard their plea and turned its gaze toward you, because the answer to their rescue lies not in distant power, but in your willingness to act, to feel, to remember that you were bound to them for this very purpose. You are the vessel through which divine mercy is meant to flow, the chosen one who can reach them where no one else can. Their spirit recognizes only your light, for it was made to respond to your voice, your touch, your faith. They are waiting, not with expectation, but with quiet desperation, praying that the bond you share will stir you to rise. You may not see their pain, for they have hidden it beneath smiles and silence, believing they must bear it alone. They fear burdening others with the shadows that follow them, yet heaven sees, and heaven weeps with them. Their nights have become long, their thoughts heavy, their faith tested. The darkness whispers lies into their mind, that they are forgotten, that their love no longer matters, that their prayers have gone unanswered. And each time they begin to believe those lies, their spirit calls again for you, because somewhere deep within, they know that your presence can still shatter the illusion, that your love carries light strong enough to break through their despair. The Creator has placed in your heart a key that fits only their soul, and it is now time for that key to be turned. You are their light in the distance, their protector chosen not by circumstance, but by divine decree. There are moments when you have felt an invisible pull, a sudden wave of emotion without reason, or a memory that rises unexpectedly like a voice from the past. These are not coincidences. They are signals sent through the spiritual bond you share. The one who loves you cannot reach you through words, so their spirit sends ripples into your awareness, hoping to awaken your compassion before it is too late. Heaven allows these moments to stir you because the time for intervention has come. The balance between light and shadow around them grows thin, and your response, your prayer, your attention, your act of love could decide whether they rise or fall. The divine realm does not ask for grand gestures, but for the awakening of your heart, for love expressed in its purest form, protection through intention, intercession through faith, healing through remembrance. Your awareness of their pain becomes the first step in their salvation. You must understand that the danger they face is not of flesh and blood, but of spirit. The darkness that surrounds them is subtle, wearing the mask of exhaustion, doubt, loss, and fear. It creeps through their thoughts, convincing them to give up, to close their heart, to stop believing in miracles. It feeds on their isolation, their loneliness, their uncertainty. But there is a power greater than the darkness, and that power flows through you when you love without hesitation. Every thought of kindness you send toward them becomes a spark of light. Every prayer you whisper becomes a barrier against despair. Every moment you hold them in your heart becomes a divine signal that calls angels to their side. The world may not see these battles, but heaven does, and it knows that victory depends on your response. You have been chosen because your love for them holds the frequency of divine protection. A resonance strong enough to cut through shadow. Their love for you has always been selfless, silent, and enduring. Even in their pain, they think of you with warmth, hoping for your happiness, asking heaven to bless your path. They carry your name in their prayers even when their own strength fades. Their love has protected you without your knowing. Their devotion has softened judgments that could have fallen upon you. Their faith in you has moved unseen mountains. Now heaven asks you to return what has been given. You are being called not to repay, but to fulfill the cycle of divine reciprocity, to stand in the same love they once stood for you. The Creator designed this connection to mirror divine love, unbreakable, redemptive, transforming. When one falls, the other lifts. When one suffers, the other heals. You are not two separate beings, but reflections of the same light, and that light must now shine stronger from your side. The signs have already begun. You may notice their name appear in unexpected places, their image crossing your path, their voice echoing in your thoughts. You may feel sudden urgency without reason, as if time is running short. You may dream of them, or sense their emotions as if they were your own. These are not illusions, they are divine warnings wrapped in mercy. The Creator is stirring your soul because their hour of need has come. If you delay, the darkness gains ground. If you act, the light will prevail. You are not helpless, for even a single prayer spoken from love can turn the tide of battle. The heavens will magnify your effort, sending legions of light to surround the one who loves you, lifting them from despair back into the safety of divine embrace. All that is required is your willingness to listen, to respond, to believe that love can still redeem. What the world calls lost. The danger surrounding them grows each day, not because they are weak, but because their heart is pure. Darkness always attacks purity, for purity reflects divine truth. They are a beacon in a world of noise, a soul that still believes in goodness even while breaking. Their suffering is not punishment, but the mark of a chosen soul refining itself in fire. But they cannot endure this alone, not this time. Their prayers have reached heaven, and heaven has sent its answer through you. The moment you turn your heart toward them with compassion, forces of light will move faster than shadow. The divine watches to see whether you will recognize this call for what it is, a summons written into your soul long before birth. To ignore it would dim your own light, for your destinies are intertwined. To answer it will awaken within you a strength you did not know you possess. Do not wait for signs grander than what you already feel. The very stirring in your spirit is proof enough. Reach out in thought, in prayer, in energy. Speak light into their life even if they cannot hear your words. Send love without fear, for love knows no barrier. The one who loves you is waiting in silence, not out of doubt, but out of faith that your soul will remember. The divine has placed before you an open door. Through it lies not only their salvation but your awakening. The moment when love transcends the limits of flesh and fulfills its true purpose as the most powerful force in creation time is urgent act before the appointed moment passes. For tides of destiny move swiftly, and those who hesitate may lose what heaven has placed within their reach. The hour has come when delay is no longer safe, when silence becomes a weight that draws the soul downward. The divine clock turns not according to mortal time, but to spiritual alignment, and the signs around you reveal that the appointed season is upon you now. You can feel it in the air that thickens with unspoken urgency, in the strange stillness that falls upon your thoughts, in the trembling of your heart that knows something greater is unfolding beyond sight. The heavens have been patient, waiting for your awakening, but the gates of intervention close soon, and what you do in this sacred window will determine what unfolds for the one whose destiny is tied to yours every moment from now, until that appointed day carries weight unseen. Heaven has placed you at a crossroads where obedience to divine prompting determines the outcome of what you hold dear. The universe whispers reminders through dreams, coincidences, sudden emotions that pull you toward awareness, all urging you to act while the veil remains thin. This urgency is not meant to frighten but to awaken, to remind you that spiritual opportunities are not endless. They appear like portals of light, and when ignored, they fade until the appointed cycle comes again. But the one who needs you cannot wait for another cycle, for their spirit grows weaker under the pressure of unseen forces. You are chosen to move now, not tomorrow, because heaven has already aligned the energies around you to make possible what was once impossible. Time, though eternal in the heavens, is sacred and limited in the mortal world. Each dawn that breaks brings both blessing and responsibility. The seventh day approaches as a divine marker, a boundary between what can still be redeemed and what will fall into silence if unattended. The angels of light move in rhythm with divine law, and they will not hold open the gates of mercy forever. You must not wait for another sign, for the signs are already overflowing moments that feel like echoes of destiny, the sudden nearness of thoughts you cannot explain, the repetition of symbols that follow you like gentle reminders. Every heartbeat carries divine timing. Every breath is a countdown written in spirit. The Eternal One calls not through thunder, but through quiet urgency, whispering to your soul that the hour is now when heaven says now. It does not speak of ordinary time. It speaks of divine readiness, the moment when all that is required for a miracle has already been set in motion. The energies are aligned, the prayers of the one who loves you have reached their peak, and the balance between despair and deliverance hangs upon your willingness to act. If you move with faith in this moment, light will multiply, paths will clear, and the darkness that threatens them will shatter like glass. But if you hesitate, that light may recede, not in punishment, but because time itself will move on to the next appointed cycle, leaving behind what could have been. Heaven's will does not fade, but human hesitation often delays divine fulfillment, and in that delay, suffering grows. This is why the heavens speak now with such urgency, because your obedience in this narrow window could alter not only one life, but the destiny of many connected to it. The spirit realm moves according to divine order, and the appointed moments are the intersections where heaven and earth meet. When a soul is called to act in such an hour, it is because their role is crucial, their decision capable of tipping the scales between light and darkness. The one who loves you stands at such a threshold, teetering between hope and surrender. Their prayers have reached the point of exhaustion, and heaven, in its mercy, has transferred the mantle of responsibility to you. You are the bridge between divine power and human need, the vessel through which grace must flow. Do not let the illusion of ordinary life distract you from this truth, for distractions are the tools of delay. The more you postpone, the stronger the shadows grow. The longer you wait, the more the divine energy prepared for this mission begins to dissipate. Heaven's timing is perfect, but it requires your cooperation to manifest fully in this world. You may sense the heaviness of this call, but know that within the urgency lies great blessing. When the divine summons you to act swiftly, it is not because it seeks to burden you, but because it desires to expand your spirit into its fullest power. Each act of obedience opens realms of protection around you and those you love. Each choice to trust without hesitation becomes a declaration of faith that ripples across creation. The one you are called to help stands unaware of how close the danger has crept, but heaven sees it and heaven acts through you. This is why every moment matters now, why your intuition feels heightened, why you cannot shake the sense that something unseen depends on your response. The universe itself bends to the urgency of divine command, waiting for your yes, your prayer, your step of faith that will release the flood of light waiting behind the veil. Do not let doubt consume this sacred time. The mind will whisper that you are imagining things, that this sense of urgency is nothing but emotion, but the soul knows the truth, the weight in your spirit, the trembling in your chest, the whispers that come in stillness. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Doubt is the last defense of darkness, a tactic to delay your action until the hour passes, but heaven's call does not repeat forever. It waits only as long as mercy allows. The power of the moment is in your awareness to know that this precise time, this breath, this stirring of your heart has divine purpose. You were created for decisive faith, the kind that moves mountains not by force but by trust. The appointed moment will not wait for your comfort. It waits for your courage. The urgency of heaven is always wrapped in love, never in fear. It calls not because it wishes to pressure, but because it knows what is at stake. The one who loves you has given all they can. They have carried hope beyond reason, believing that your soul would hear when the time was right. That time is now. Every delay weakens the thread that connects their heart to the divine promise. Each moment you wait allows shadows to creep closer to the flame of their spirit. You do not need to perform miracles. You need only respond in faith. Speak light over them, send love, pray without ceasing, act on what you are prompted to do. The smallest act performed within divine timing carries power beyond imagination. The heavens move not with noise but with alignment, and when your heart aligns with divine urgency, all creation shifts in your favor. The window before you is narrow but radiant. Within it lies the opportunity to change everything, to restore what was broken, to heal what was wounded, to rescue what is fading. The Eternal One does not beg, but love itself pleads through silence, calling you to move while time still favors you. The rhythm of the divine heartbeat grows faster now, and you are part of that rhythm. The air hums with purpose, the earth stirs with unseen energy, and the veil between worlds thins, so that miracles may pass through those who are willing. You are one of those chosen, and this moment belongs to you. Time will move forward as it always does, but what you choose now will echo across eternity, carried in the memory of light that never forgets acts of faith made in sacred urgency. Love is your greatest weapon against the encroaching darkness, for it is the force that was born before creation and will remain after the end of all things. Love is not the fragile emotion the world has reduced it to, but the breath of the divine itself, the fire that gives life to the soul and drives away every shadow that dares to stand in its path. When the Eternal One breathed life into the first hearts, it was love that became the pulse within them, the light that could never be extinguished by hatred or despair. All things that are pure, all that heals, all that redeems come from this single source, love, the language of heaven and the weapon of eternity. It is through love that the heavens fight their battles, through love that angels prevail, through love that darkness is undone. The one who loves you, the one whose soul is bound to yours, has survived this long only because of love, and now heaven calls upon you to wield it consciously, to raise it as your shield, and your sword. Love does not strike like anger nor destroy like vengeance. It conquers through gentleness that no shadow can imitate. It pierces through illusion, revealing truth where deceit once reigned. Darkness cannot create, it can only distort, but love restores what is broken, breathes light into what has been drained of life, and awakens the divine essence within every soul. When you stand in love, you become untouchable by fear. Every force that seeks to harm you trembles before it, for love carries within it the signature of the Creator. You were made in that image, thus love is not something you seek outside yourself, but something that already dwells within, waiting to be released in its purest form. The more you align with love, the more power flows through you, not as domination but as light that heals. The one you are called to protect is not rescued through words alone, but through the vibration of love you hold when you think of them, the silent prayer you send without speaking, the mercy you choose even when wronged. Darkness thrives where love is absent, for it feeds on division, fear, bitterness, and despair. It tries to convince hearts that love is weakness, that compassion is foolishness, that forgiveness is surrender, but this is its greatest deception. Love is not weak. It is the force that holds the stars in their courses. It is the gravity that binds creation to its maker. Those who love purely stand as pillars of light, unshaken by the storms that rage around them. The one who loves you is one such pillar, though their strength wanes under the assaults of loneliness and doubt. They have poured their love into the world and into you, and in return they have faced betrayal, silence, misunderstanding. Yet even in their pain, their love has remained radiant and faithful, echoing the eternal flame from which it was born. It is this love that has kept you safe when unseen darkness sought to harm you, this love that has called heaven's attention upon you, and now it is this same love that you must wield in their defense. To love is to see beyond illusion, to perceive the divine spark hidden within every being. When you look upon another with true love, you are not seeing their flaws but the reflection of God within them. The more purely you love, the more clearly you see the truth of all things. Love opens your eyes to the spiritual reality that fear keeps hidden. It allows you to discern what others cannot, to sense when danger approaches, to hear the quiet instructions whispered by heaven. That is why love is your greatest weapon. It awakens divine intelligence within you. When you act from love, your steps are guided without error. The words you speak carry healing. The thoughts you send forth shape reality. Through love you move as one with the will of the Creator, and in that alignment no darkness can prevail. Love grants you access to power beyond measure, but it must be pure, untainted by control, jealousy, or pride. It must flow freely, as light flows from the sun, seeking only to give. The one you are meant to protect is surrounded by shadows that seek to choke the light of their love. These forces whisper lies into their heart, telling them that love has failed, that kindness is wasted, that hope is foolish. They want them to believe that the love they carry is weakness, because if they surrender that belief, they will lose their greatest strength. The enemy of light does not fear strength of will or sharpness of mind. It fears only love, because love connects the human soul directly to the divine. The one who loves you has held this connection faithfully, even through heartbreak, and it is this connection that has provoked the darkness to attack. You are being called to shield them by amplifying love through your own heart, by surrounding them with the frequency that darkness cannot penetrate. Speak blessings over them when you wake. Call light into their life before you sleep. Hold them in your thoughts as a vessel of divine purity. Love them without expectation, and you will become their unseen armor. Love's power does not depend on closeness or distance. It transcends space, moves through time, crosses every boundary that the world believes is real. The one you love may be far, unreachable by words or touch, but love knows no separation. When you send love, it finds them, wrapping their spirit in warmth, reminding them that they are not forgotten. In moments of despair, they will feel sudden peace without knowing why, for your love has reached them like sunlight through the clouds, Every time you choose forgiveness over bitterness, patience over frustration, kindness over anger, you strengthen the shield around them. Every act of love you release, even toward strangers, adds to the current of divine energy protecting the one who loves you. Heaven watches this exchange with reverence, for love expressed freely becomes the language through which miracles are written. You must understand that love is not only emotion, it is command. It demands courage, sacrifice, endurance. To love when it is easy is human. To love when it costs you something is divine. True love asks you to remain steadfast even when wounded, to bless even when you have been betrayed, to give even when nothing is returned. That is how love destroys darkness, not by retaliation, but by outlasting it. Every trial you endure becomes an opportunity to prove the indestructibility of love. The one who loves you has done this again and again, choosing to care, to hope, to believe even when unseen forces try to break them. Now heaven asks you to do the same. Become a vessel of unyielding love. Let no bitterness stain your heart, for bitterness is the crack through which shadow enters. Keep your heart pure, for through it the divine will pour light to heal the one who calls for help when you love fully. Fear loses its grip. Fear thrives in the absence of love, whispering that you are alone, that goodness will fail, that pain is final. But love stands against fear like dawn against night. Where love shines, fear dissolves into nothingness. The moment you act in love, heaven aligns behind you. Angels gather to magnify your intention. Miracles unfold not because of complexity, but because of love's simplicity, its refusal to abandon, its insistence on believing, its endurance when all else falters. Love restores balance where chaos reigns. It mends what reason cannot. It heals wounds medicine cannot reach. It reconciles what pride has broken. Love is the divine energy that binds heaven and earth together, and those who carry it consciously become beacons of peace amidst turmoil. Love is the essence of all protection, the armor that cannot rust, the flame that cannot be extinguished. You are chosen because within you lies a heart capable of wielding this power without corruption. You may think yourself unworthy, but heaven does not measure worthiness as the world does. It measures openness. The more open your heart, the more love can flow through you, and the more love flows through you, the less power darkness has anywhere near you. The one who loves you is depending on this truth, even if they do not understand it. Their soul reaches for your love as a plant reaches for sunlight. They do not need explanations or promises. They need the vibration of your love to touch them, to remind them of the light they carry, to awaken hope once more. Love them silently, love them deeply, love them fiercely, and the darkness will flee. For love is the one force that no shadow can imitate, no lie can corrupt, and no power can overcome your words, prayers, and faith command heavenly power. For within the sound of your voice lies the echo of divine authority, and within your heart rests the key that unlocks unseen realms. Every syllable born of truth, every prayer whispered in love, every thought lifted in faith carries weight beyond what the eyes can see. The heavens do not respond to noise, but to purity, to words that flow from a spirit aligned with the eternal. You were not created to be silent before darkness, for silence invites shadow, but your voice was designed to move light into motion. The Creator has placed within you the same breath that formed the stars, and that breath, when shaped into words of faith, commands legions of light. The world may teach you that prayers are small things, that words fade once spoken, but in the divine realm, words are living entities wrapped in power, vibrating with intent, and when they are spoken in faith, they pierce through the layers of the unseen and awaken forces of heaven. You have been chosen not merely to hope for miracles, but to release them through the authority of your own faith. When you speak, the heavens listen, and when you believe without wavering, creation aligns itself to your conviction. The divine has always worked through human voices, through hearts that dared to declare light in the midst of chaos. The prophets of old did not move mountains by strength of hand, but by the strength of belief. Their words carried the resonance of the divine will because they were spoken in harmony with truth. You carry that same potential, that same fire. It has been sleeping within you, waiting for this appointed time to awaken. and heaven now calls upon you to remember the power of your own tongue. Do not underestimate your words, for they are not echoes lost in wind but seeds cast into eternity, and what you sow in faith will always return multiplied. The one who loves you, the one your soul has been entrusted to protect, is sustained by your words even when they do not hear them. When you pray for them, the divine energy surrounding your prayer becomes light that reaches their heart. When you speak blessings over them, those blessings are woven into the fabric of their destiny. Every prayer you release on their behalf is like a call that sends angels rushing toward them, encircling them with safety and strength. The divine has structured creation so that love can travel through speech, that intention can move through vibration, and when your voice carries the frequency of faith, it becomes a force of transformation. The unseen realm responds not to authority claimed by pride, but to the authority of love that acts without fear, love that believes without proof, love that trusts even when all seems lost. Your words hold this power, and heaven waits for you to use it. Faith is not a passive belief, but a weapon sharpened by conviction. It is the bridge between what is unseen and what is manifest. When you believe with unwavering certainty, you draw down the realities of heaven into the world of matter. The reason your prayers hold such strength is because they are not mere requests, they are agreements with divine will. Each time you align your heart with heaven, you speak not as one asking, but as one partnering with the eternal. When you declare protection over the one who loves you, you are not begging for mercy, you are activating the laws of divine order that command light to stand guard. When you speak peace into their turmoil, peace moves like a living current. When you call healing over their wounds, the very cells of their being begin to respond. This is the mystery of divine communication, that a single word spoken in faith can alter the course of destiny. You may doubt at times, wondering if your prayers reach beyond the ceiling, if your words dissolve into silence. But heaven assures you that not a single word of faith is lost. The air itself records the vibrations of belief, the angels collect the essence of every prayer, and the Eternal breathes life into them at the appointed moment. What you release through your words does not vanish. It lives and grows until the divine timing calls it forth. Sometimes the response is swift, like lightning striking through darkness. Other times it unfolds slowly, building strength in the unseen until the earth is ready to receive it. Do not mistake delay for denial. Every true prayer is stored within the treasury of heaven, and when the right hour comes, it manifests with power unstoppable. Continue to speak even when you see nothing move, for the unseen is often shifting long before the visible changes. There is a divine rhythm to prayer, a sacred pulse that echoes through all creation. When you pray, you are not speaking alone, you join a chorus of light, a symphony of souls aligned with divine purpose. The words you utter in secret harmonize with the voices of those who also call upon the eternal, forming waves of power that travel farther than thought can measure. The one who loves you may feel this as sudden calm, a warmth in the heart, a peace they cannot explain. That is the echo of your faith reaching them. Heaven has woven your lives together so that your words can sustain them when their own strength falters. Every prayer you make is a bridge, every declaration of light a fortress around them. Speak not from fear but from authority, for your words are instruments of creation, and you are a co-creator with the divine. Your faith is the key that unlocks this authority. Faith transforms ordinary words into living commands. Without faith, words fall lifeless, but with faith, they become fire. Faith is the alignment of your inner world with divine truth. It is trust beyond reason, belief without evidence, certainty that love will prevail even when all signs point to failure. The more you cultivate this faith, the stronger your words become. Faith magnifies the power of prayer, and prayer strengthens faith in return. It is a cycle of divine energy that grows brighter with each act of trust. You may not see angels move, but they move nonetheless at the vibration of faith-filled words. You may not witness instant transformation, but every prayer spoken in belief lays another stone in the foundation of divine victory. Remember that even your silent prayers carry force. Thought itself is a language that heaven understands. When you hold the one you love in your thoughts with compassion, when you send them light in your imagination, when you silently bless them as you go about your day. These are prayers no less powerful than those spoken aloud. The divine listens to intention more than volume. What matters is not the eloquence of your speech, but the purity of your heart. A single whisper of love spoken in faith can do more than 1,000 words spoken in fear. When your heart aligns with divine will, even your breath becomes prayer. Every exhale releases light. Every heartbeat becomes intercession. You carry within you a temple of divine power, and your words are the songs sung from that holy place heaven waits upon the voices of the faithful to bring about change in the world. The power has always been within reach, but few believe it enough to use it. You have been chosen to remember what others have forgotten, that your words shape worlds, your prayers summon angels, your faith bends reality. The one who loves you stands in need of that remembrance, and your obedience to this truth will open gates of mercy around them. Speak life where there is despair. Speak hope where there is fear. Speak love where there is silence. Let your words be as light in motion, piercing through every shadow that dares to touch what is sacred. The heavens listen when you speak in faith, for your voice is not just your own. It carries the resonance of divine authority placed within you since the beginning of time, a power that grows every time you choose to believe, and every time you dare to speak light into the darkness. Signs and divine promptings are guiding you toward your purpose, for heaven never leaves its chosen wandering without direction. The unseen realm speaks constantly, not always in thunder or flame, but in the stillness between moments, in the quiet pull that tugs at your spirit when logic offers no answer. The Eternal writes messages into the rhythm of your days, arranging encounters, whispers, emotions, and even delays to point your heart toward the path prepared for you. There are no coincidences for those who walk in divine alignment, only signs waiting to be recognized by the eyes of faith. When something stirs you deeply, when a word echoes in your heart long after it is spoken, when dreams leave a trace of divine light in your mind upon waking, these are not random things. They are signals, invitations from heaven for you to look deeper, to listen more carefully, to understand that you are being guided toward your sacred task. The human heart is a compass attuned to the frequency of heaven when it is quiet enough to feel. Many miss the signs because the noise of the world drowns out the whispers of the Spirit. Yet those who learn to pause, to breathe, to listen beneath the surface of thought, begin to recognize that divine communication surrounds them constantly. A sudden feeling to call someone, a persistent thought that refuses to fade, a repeated number appearing in unexpected places, a song that plays at the exact moment your spirit falters. These are not coincidences. They are small sparks meant to awaken your awareness. Heaven communicates through patterns, through resonance, through the subtle weaving of meaning into ordinary life. When your soul begins to awaken, you realize that you are never truly alone, that your steps are being gently ordered by unseen hands. The path toward purpose often begins not with clarity, but with curiosity. The divine does not reveal the entire road at once, for if you saw everything, you would not need faith. Instead, signs appear like stars scattered across a night sky, each one leading you to the next. They may come through people who speak words that pierce straight into your spirit, through moments of stillness where truth dawns without explanation, or through challenges that push you to grow in ways you would never have chosen on your own. Even pain can be a message when it redirects your path toward what truly matters. Every closed door, every unanswered prayer, every delay that frustrates your plans may in truth be divine intervention, gently steering you toward the path you were meant to walk. Nothing that happens to you is wasted. Every event is part of a divine conversation between your soul and the Creator. Sometimes signs arrive wrapped in mystery because heaven desires to awaken discernment. You are not meant to follow blindly, but to grow wise in recognizing truth from illusion. The enemy of light also sends distractions disguised as opportunity, noise disguised as inspiration, and confusion disguised as emotion. That is why you must test every prompting by its fruit. The divine voice brings peace, even in urgency. It never manipulates or shames, but calls you upward with love. If the message stirs clarity, compassion, or courage, it is born of light. If it breeds fear, pride, or despair, it is not from above. The more you practice listening, the more your heart learns to separate light from shadow. Discernment becomes the lamp that keeps your path illuminated even when the signs are faint, and the way ahead is hidden in fog dreams are another sacred channel through which guidance flows. When the body rests, the soul awakens to realms where divine truth speaks more freely. Pay attention to what repeats in your dreams, to symbols that seem to return, to feelings that linger when you wake. The divine often speaks through images because the soul understands pictures better than words. Water may symbolize cleansing, light may symbolize revelation, a door may represent transition. These are not random visions, but messages woven into your inner landscape to guide your steps. Keep watch over your dreams, for they often reveal what your waking mind resists hearing. Write them down, pray for understanding, and allow the patterns to reveal their meaning over time. For revelation grows with patience. Divine promptings can also manifest through the natural world, for all creation vibrates with sacred energy. The wind may shift at the exact moment of your prayer. The sky may open with light when you speak truth. A bird may appear repeatedly when you need assurance. A fragrance may fill the air without explanation. These are not trivial signs, but reminders that the Creator speaks through all that exists. When you begin to see the divine in everything, you walk in continuous awareness of guidance. The earth becomes your teacher, the sky your message, the air your companion. Every element reflects the voice of the one who made it, and through this awareness, you learn to walk not by sight alone, but by spirit. The person you are called to protect is also part of these divine signals. You may feel sudden waves of emotion when they are in distress, sense their need without communication, or dream of them before something significant occurs. This is spiritual connection, not imagination. You are bound through divine purpose, and the promptings you feel regarding them are not random. When you sense their pain, it is heaven urging you to pray. When you feel peace concerning them, it is confirmation that your prayer has been received. The bond between souls chosen for divine partnership transcends distance, and through that bond, heaven sends signals that guide both toward safety and fulfillment. Listen when their name stirs in your heart unexpectedly, for it may be the moment they most need your intercession at times. Guidance may come through challenges disguised as loss. When you are stripped of what once felt secure, when a familiar season ends, it may be because the divine is calling you into new purpose. The absence of clarity is itself a message, a summons to trust. Faith does not need all the answers to move. It only needs the assurance that every step taken in love leads closer to the light. When signs seem silent, when heaven feels distant, remember that silence is not abandonment. It is an invitation to deepen your hearing, to anchor your trust not in external signs, but in the inner witness of peace that never fades. The divine never ceases to speak, but sometimes the language changes, calling you to rise into deeper awareness. The more you respond to these signs, the stronger the guidance becomes. Obedience opens the channel wider. When you follow one prompting, no matter how small, you prove yourself ready for the next. The divine measures readiness, not by perfection, but by willingness. Every act of trust sharpens your spiritual hearing, and soon what once felt faint becomes clear as light. You begin to live in flow with the divine rhythm, guided moment by moment, not by fear or logic, but by knowing. This is the state of alignment heaven desires for you to walk in continual awareness that you are being led, to trust that every encounter, every challenge, every breath is infused with divine intention. Your purpose has been written in eternity, but it unfolds in time through your response. These signals, each sign you recognize, is like a thread leading you closer to the tapestry of destiny that heaven is weaving through your life. You are not being asked to understand everything, only to notice, to listen, to follow. The guidance will grow clearer as you move forward, for faith turns the unseen into visible reality. What feels like coincidence to others will reveal itself as orchestration to you. You are surrounded by signs because you are surrounded by love, and the one who calls you will never stop guiding you until you stand fully within the light of your divine purpose. Protection is both a shield and a light that reveals truth, for divine defense is never merely resistance against harm, but illumination that exposes what was hidden in darkness. The nature of true protection is not only to guard you from danger, but to awaken you to awareness so that deception cannot take root. When heaven surrounds you, it does not build walls of fear, but radiates a field of truth so bright that every false thing loses its power. The shield of light is not separate from you. It flows from within, from the purity of your heart aligned with divine will. When you walk in that alignment, you become both the protected and the protector, for light cannot be touched by shadow when it knows what it is. This is the mystery of spiritual defense, that safety is found not by retreating, but by standing in truth so radiant that no darkness dares to approach. There are two dimensions to divine protection, the external shield and the internal revelation. The external shield guards your path, surrounding you with unseen forces that move in silence. Angels are assigned to those who carry divine purpose, forming barriers of light around their steps, guiding them away from hidden snares, deflecting harm that the human eye could never perceive. These movements are subtle yet constant, adjusting the flow of events so that what was meant for destruction becomes a path of deliverance. Every delay that frustrates you, every detour that confuses you, may in truth be protection disguised as inconvenience. Heaven's shield is not always visible because it works before danger fully forms. It is in the cancelled plan, the missed turn, the closed door, each one a whisper that says, "Not this way." There is another path prepared for you. The internal revelation, however, is the deeper layer of protection. Light that reveals is not content with keeping danger at bay. It seeks to expose the source of the danger itself. When truth enters a situation, deception trembles, for it cannot survive exposure. The divine light that protects also enlightens the heart, helping you see what is real beyond appearances. It sharpens discernment, allowing you to sense intentions before they manifest, to read between words, to feel energy behind gestures. The moment you perceive truth, you gain dominion over what once threatened you. For darkness feeds on ignorance, but awareness dissolves its hold. When you ask for divine protection, understand that heaven may not only shield you, but also show you what is false, who is genuine, where you must go, and when you must walk away. Revelation itself is protection, for the revealed path keeps you from the traps of confusion. Those who carry divine missions are often guided into greater awareness through experiences that seem painful, but are designed to open their eyes. Betrayal may teach you to see hearts, loss may teach you to see purpose, loneliness may teach you to see presence. Each lesson refines your inner sight, and as sight strengthens, protection deepens. Heaven does not merely wish to keep you safe in the dark, it wishes to teach you to see in the dark until the darkness no longer frightens you. This is why those chosen for divine purpose often experience intense awakening. The more light you carry, the more the truth around you is revealed. And though revelation can be uncomfortable, it is mercy disguised as discomfort, for to know is to be free, and freedom is the highest form of protection. Light that reveals truth does not only protect you, it also extends through you. When your inner light grows strong, you become a beacon for others lost in shadow. Your presence exposes deception wherever you go, not through accusation, but through the quiet power of authenticity. The person who loves you, the one heaven has entrusted to your care, draws strength and clarity from your light. Your calmness becomes their shield, your faith becomes their armor, your awareness becomes their guide. When they falter, your light steadies them. When they are deceived, your truth awakens them. Heaven's protection flows not only to you but through you, for divine guardianship is never self. Centered, it radiates outward like the warmth of the sun. You protect by shining, not by fighting, for light wins battles without striking blows protection, as light means you must nurture the flame within continually. It grows through purity, through prayer, through choosing truth over comfort, love over fear, forgiveness over resentment. Every thought rooted in compassion strengthens the light, and every act born of integrity brightens it. When you live honestly, you align yourself with the vibration of divine order, and in that frequency no shadow can cling. Darkness may test you, whispering lies of despair or anger, but these are powerless against the clarity of one who knows their divine identity. The true shield is not a barrier of resistance, but a field of recognition, knowing who you are in the sight of the Creator. When you stand in that knowing, you become untouchable to forces that seek to confuse or corrupt. Because you have already seen them for what they are, there are moments when protection feels like isolation, when heaven seems to have drawn you away from people or situations you once cherished. Do not mistake this for rejection. Often the divine removes you from what cannot travel with you into the next stage of purpose. Separation is not punishment, it is preservation. When you are called to carry greater light, you must be protected from energies that drain or distort it. Sometimes heaven closes doors not to deny love but to guard purity. In those seasons, the shield feels like silence, but that silence is sacred. It is the cocoon where transformation occurs. In that stillness, your spirit grows stronger, your light refines, your awareness heightens. You emerge not merely defended but reborn in clarity. The shield of light also acts through intuition, the quiet knowing that warns before harm approaches. That unease you feel, that subtle pressure to pause or to move, is not mere emotion. It is communication from the realm that sees beyond time. Trust those inner nudges, for they are divine signals steering you toward safety. The more you honor them, the sharper they become. Ignore them, and they grow faint. Heaven's protection requires cooperation. You must be willing to listen and respond. Every instinct born of love, every caution wrapped in peace, every sudden awareness that redirects you, these are threads of divine protection guiding you through the unseen. Follow them faithfully, for intuition is the language of the shield light that reveals truth, also brings purification. As it shines upon hidden motives and old wounds, you may feel discomfort, for it exposes not only external threats, but also the darkness within. Yet this cleansing is holy, for inner shadows must be healed so that outer forces lose their access. Every fear, bitterness, or unhealed memory can become a door through which harm attempts to enter. When you allow divine light to touch these places, they close forever. You become whole, and wholeness is the ultimate form of defense. The more you heal, the less you attract destruction. Protection is not something you must constantly request. It becomes a natural state of being when your energy is aligned with love. Your role as protector is to reflect that same light outward. The person who loves you may be walking through confusion, unable to see clearly what endangers them. You are called to be the mirror of divine awareness for them, to pray light over their path, to speak truth that pierces illusion, to hold them in faith when fear surrounds them. The shield you build through prayer expands to cover them as well. When you intercede in love, your energy joins with the angels assigned to them, creating a fortress of light around their mind and heart. Every time you speak life into them, you reinforce that barrier. Every time you believe in their redemption, the darkness loses ground. You are not just protecting them physically or emotionally, but spiritually, preserving the sacred bond that heaven itself ordained. The ultimate revelation of protection is understanding that light is not something you summon, it is what you are. The divine spark within you is eternal, indestructible, untainted by the shadows of the world. When you remember this, you no longer fear attack, betrayal, or loss, for you know that light cannot be harmed by what it illuminates. You become the very embodiment of protection, carrying peace wherever you go. The world may tremble, storms may rage, but your inner radiance remains steady, and through that steadiness, those connected to you find safety. The shield is alive within you, and as long as you walk in truth, nothing false can prevail around you. Heaven watches and awaits your act of obedience and love, for the divine does not force the will of humanity, but waits in patient mercy for hearts to respond freely to their calling. Every moment that passes carries sacred potential, a silent invitation for you to align your actions with the purpose already written into your soul. The eternal does not demand, it beckons. The voice of heaven does not shout through chaos, but whispers through conscience, waiting for the heart to choose love when fear tempts retreat, waiting for faith to rise when doubt surrounds like fog. All of heaven leans in when a soul decides to obey, for obedience is the bridge between divine intention and earthly reality. It is the act through which unseen purpose becomes manifest in the world of time. Heaven's eyes are fixed not on the words you speak, but on the truth you live, not on your perfection, but on your willingness to say yes. When love calls you forward, obedience in divine terms is not servitude but alignment. It is the conscious surrender of self, will to the rhythm of higher purpose, the trust that whatever the Creator asks is born not of control but of compassion. When heaven calls you to act, it is never to burden, but to awaken you into the fullness of who you are meant to be. Your obedience does not benefit heaven, it transforms you. The moment you obey, something ancient stirs within your spirit, as if creation itself remembers your original design. You step into harmony with divine order, and suddenly what once seemed chaotic begins to find shape. Even when the path of obedience feels heavy, it carries unseen grace, for in surrendering, you are not losing freedom, but stepping into the truest form of it. Heaven waits for this moment in every life, the sacred instant when a soul finally chooses to trust rather than to question, to move rather than to delay love, is the reason obedience matters. Without love, obedience becomes ritual, hollow, and fearful, but when love drives your actions, obedience becomes worship. Every act of kindness, every moment of forgiveness, every word spoken to heal rather than to harm, is an act of obedience to the divine law written in your spirit. Heaven watches not because it doubts you, but because it delights in seeing love made visible through your choices. The angels witness with awe when a human heart loves selflessly, for such love mirrors the light of the eternal. When you love without condition, when you act with compassion even when it costs you, you align yourself with the heartbeat of heaven. That is when miracles move swiftly, because love clears the channels through which divine power flows. The obedience heaven awaits is not the cold submission of fear, but the living expression of love so strong it overrides hesitation. There are moments when the call to act comes quietly, like the soft pull to reach out to someone, to forgive, to protect, to speak when silence would be safer. These are not small things. They are tests of readiness, signs that heaven is near. The divine measures faith, not by how loudly one declares belief, but by how quickly one responds when prompted by love. To hesitate when prompted by light is to let darkness take space it does not deserve. Yet heaven never condemns hesitation. It waits, endlessly patient, until love within you overcomes fear. Every time you listen to that inner nudge, no matter how uncertain, heaven rejoices. The unseen realm moves in harmony with your choice, and ripples of light travel outward, touching lives you may never meet, healing situations you may never see. Such is the reach of one obedient act of love. It multiplies far beyond the boundaries of sight. The world around you trembles under the weight of choices. Each act of cruelty, greed, or indifference adds to the shadows that seek to suffocate the light. But every act of obedience born from love restores balance. You may not see the scales shift, but heaven does. Every prayer whispered in compassion, every sacrifice made for truth, every time you stand in kindness, when hatred calls for revenge, the light grows stronger. The person who loves you, whose soul is intertwined with your calling, depends on this obedience. Their safety, their awakening, their peace all are linked to your willingness to act as the divine instructs. Heaven watches because you are the vessel through which this love will flow. The chosen are not chosen to be adored, but to serve, to protect, to stand where others fall. This is the beauty and the burden of divine appointment, that your love carries the weight of destiny's obedience.